Ken Trahan with Lenny Vangilder. It's our first NBC weekend review and weekday preview here for SportsNola.com. Hope you had a great Independence Day weekend. Back in the saddle, let's go. And the Hornets, well, lots to be said there. Eric Gordon, will they in fact match the offer from the Suns? Will they do a sign and trade? Will they match the offer and then try to trade him? Or do they think they can change his mind and try to keep him here to play? And then, of course, the acquisition of Ryan Anderson in return for Gustavo Ayón in a sign and trade deal with Orlando. Very interesting week for the Hornets.
Yeah, it has been. And, very little happening on the court other than what's happening with Olympic aspirations and such. Eric Gordon, Anthony Davis don't make the U.S. Olympic team, and congratulations to Al Farouk Aminu. He's playing in the Olympics as a member of the Nigerian national team, so he'll get a chance to show his talents in London. But off the court, it's bizarre. It's what happens next. It's almost becoming like a Saints-esque type situation in terms of the soap opera with the whole Eric Gordon thing. But some good news coming out on Sunday with the news of the sign and trade acquisition of Anderson, and he's the most improved player in the NBA last year. This seems like a steal for the Hornets. Ayón, a nice player last year, but at the end of the day, he's going to be a guy who played basically the same spot that Anthony Davis did. So a guy who probably saw, at times maybe 30, 35 minutes in games last year. How much would he really see this year? So I guess with the ability to get Davis, Ayón became expendable. And, Anderson is a terrific talent who can really extend the floor at 6'10".
He can, and it pretty much spells the end of Carl Landry's stay in New Orleans, who, of course, they traded Marcus Thornton for, but that's another topic for another day. Bottom line, very good acquisition. I couldn't agree more with you. You can read my editorial on it at SportsNola.com. Saints, of course, July 16th, still the deadline for Drew Brees, still getting over all the suits and everything else, but now it would seem it's time to get down to the nitty-gritty. We're talking a week, basically, to get this done.
Right, and obviously the news last week as it related to the second year versus the third year tagging of a player played in Breeze's favor, and I think that was probably the last domino that needed to fall into place in terms of a negotiation process. They know what's going to be the situation out there. If you were to play under the tag this year, get tagged again next year. In essence, you're talking about close to $40 million in guaranteed dollars right there. That's going to help set the bar for what it is that they're going to be able to do in terms of a long-term deal. And maybe it does take until 2:59 next Monday, but it might get done this week.
Zephyrs over 500 at the break. It's pretty interesting. They started out the year, they couldn't score, and they pitched great. Now their pitching comes back to the pack. Now they're starting to hit. Cervenak's been good. Peterson's been good. Obviously, Aguila, when he was there, is good and has been good. Gabby Sanchez has come back. Chris Coughlin is there. Luke Montz has hit home runs. All of a sudden, they found offense. Now they've got a pitch.
Where did that 7 home runs yesterday? You've watched too many games in that ballpark just like I have. Nobody hit 7 home runs at Zephyr Field, and it's a 15-year-old ballpark and a record yesterday for home runs by one team in a game. That was extraordinary. Now take a break and come back. Same Oklahoma City team, this time on the road for 4, coming up starting on Thursday. And if the Zephyrs have any hope of winning a division, it's a huge series for them.
Yeah, City Series going on in American Legion Baseball. Follow our coverage at SportsNola.com. Voodoo got clocked over at San Jose. No surprise there against an elite team. They had a very interesting travel day on Sunday where it took them all day and night to get home. We'll see how that impacts them as they move forward. And we knew they'd have to win 2 out of 3 anyway, and now they got it in their own hands. They got to win at Tampa Bay and then win over Georgia, and they win their division.
Pretty simple, and the Zephyrs, the Voodoo has played very well against teams in their division. 5-1 this year. If you finish the deal and continue to dominate your division as you have throughout, there's going to be playoffs in New Orleans coming up in a couple of weeks.
So an interesting week forthcoming. We'll watch the Drew Brees situation. Obviously, we'll follow the Hornets situation very closely. Wednesday, the day that you can actually make the deal, execute the deal with Anderson, and then, of course, once Wednesday rolls around, they'll have a couple of days to decide on Gordon.
Exactly, and it's will he actually sign the Phoenix offer sheet? Will he be able to come to some kind of other agreement before then, which will in essence give him more leverage? We'll wait. We'll find out a lot here in the next couple of days.
Stay tuned, Lenny. As always, thank you.
We'll talk to you later this week.
That's our first NBC weekend review and weekday preview. First NBC Bank, proud sponsor of SportsNola.com, and we thank them. For Lenny Vangilder, I'm Ken Trahan. Have a great week.